Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am back with just another market crash video in FIFA 22, and this one was a little less severe after the recoveries, but I want to talk about how the FUT Hero Upgrade SBC did cause a little bit of a market crash and a lot of panic on the market, and how you can make coins with that in the future, and what we did yesterday to make some coins. If you like today's video, all that I ask is that you like today's video. It really helps our channel.
I have to be liked.
If you're new here, consider subscribing. You'll make a lot more coins being here than if you're not. And I want to encourage you guys to turn on that notification bell. We're going to be doing a lot of up-to-date videos where it is time sensitive. The earlier you guys are watching these videos, the better it will be for you. So let's just jump right into it. What did we get yesterday? We got the FUT Hero Upgrade SBC. It's non-repeatable, so it's a one-time use. If it was repeatable, man, this would have killed the market. It's non-repeatable, so that was really important, right? You could only do it one time. It's 182K, which I just want to say on the record, I think it's overpriced. I think it should be closer to 150, maybe even 120. And obviously, it raised in price as fodder increased from people doing it. But what I will say is that only 6 heroes are worth above that. So if you're doing these SBCs, and I'll kind of approach this the same all year, if you're doing the gambling SBCs, you're really risking it, right? The chances are high you're going to get someone that's not going to play in your team, are not going to be there for long. You could get a Dempsey, Compost, whatever it will be. You're going to get someone likely that's not going to play in your team super long, although Dempsey's amazing because he's American. But the chances are you're not going to get someone great. So just be careful with what you're spending coins on, because a lot of people, and I find this every year, talk to me about how poor they are in FUT and how they can't have coins or how they can't get liquid coins. And what happens is they do pretty much every gambling SBC, and then they get frustrated that they can't afford cards like Dante or Nkunku or Conte, because those cards guarantee you something, okay?
Okay.
And I don't even mind if people do those SBCs, even if they're a little pricey. This Dante came out, and I thought he was a little bit pricey for what he was. But if you wanted to do him, at least you know what you're getting. Here in these FUT Hero upgrades, this is EA's new implementation of making you poor. And they want you to do this SBC. They want you to get a card that is bad and lose 180K forever. That is good for them. That is part of their strategy all year, is to sink your coins into these. If you really don't mind much about losing the coins, that's okay. But just know, don't come back and say, I wish I had more coins later in the year, because you're spamming these all year. You know what I mean? Anyways, this was pretty early in the year, and it was pretty unexpected, in my opinion, to come this fast. The reason you typically would want to see these a little later in the year is because it does cause some market panic, and it puts a big untradeable into a lot of people's clubs, and it's just the fastest they've really done this. They've kind of been moving towards that every year. But what happens is everyone gets a hero that they'll try to force in their squad, or they'll try to sell certain cards in their team to even afford this SBC, because 180K, give or take, this early in FUT, that's a lot for a lot of people. Some people only had 500K, so they're like, you know what, I gotta sell someone in my team to do this SBC, which kind of sucks for them because they're probably not getting someone back anyway. So let's chat a little bit about that effect, right? Where people sold some cards in their team to complete the SBC. You could see this on most cards in the market. For me, there was a few that I really like to look at. One of them was this Varane. This Varane had, I'm talking like 5+ listings under 190K at some point. He was really easy to get at 195K PS. Why did I like Varane so much? Because he had a massive drop, right? He was raising all day. Then he hit like 230 to 235K, and then he got panic sold here. Whenever there's a lot of panic selling, FUTBin won't reflect the bottom price, but he was very easy to get at 195. You'll see that recurring today, where it's not going to record the bottom. And he recovered right back up to his baseline price. So if you bought him, you're making like 15 to 20K a card. On Xbox, he dropped to 165, so you're making closer to like 10 to 12K a card. Really good profit on him, and I like that he links with Nkunku and Conte. That's why he's going up so much in price. Sun was one that I used here. I'll show you a screenshot. I was buying him at like 141 to 145. And then I sold all of mine at like 159 to 162. He is down a little bit right now, but he was 160-ish pretty much the whole day last night. So he was another one that just dropped a ton. If you looked yesterday, he was selling at literally 185K, dropped down a ton, and then increased back up. He was 145K really easily. So again, FUTBin won't record that, but his drop was just too big for me, and that's honestly the only reason I went on him, was because his drop was crazy. Another card that did extremely well was this Hakimi. He went down to 65K on Xbox, yes, which is crazy, 89K on PS, and I'm talking tons of listings there. It wasn't really hard to get these cards because there was so much panic selling. The reason I like Hakimi is because Kimpembe and Marquinhos are so crazy popular that everyone pretty much links them with Hakimi. regardless of how good that Hakimi actually is. And then the Dante SBC definitely helps him as well. You'll see here Hakimi got panic sold again from like 115 all the way down to 94. Again, he was lower than 90k at one point, and now he's back up to like 105k. So you're making 10k per card pretty much on that on both consoles, maybe closer to 12, 15 on Xbox, which is nutty, but he just shouldn't have been panic sold so heavily. Another thing to look at there with Heroes is there's not a right back. So sometimes people sell cards in their team because they got like a striker, right? Maybe they got a Keane, or maybe they got more realistically a Morientes or a Milito or a Gomez, and they sold their current striker. That is realistic, but no one sold Hakimi because they got a FUT Hero right back, because there are none. So that was one that I did really like personally. And those are a few examples of golds that got panic sold, and just one way to make coins. I'm going to flip you over to the gameplay screen here, and you'll see I got my Suns here all sold at 159. I got 20 of them, so it ended up being like 160k profit. I sold some with Hunter at like 161, 162, 163, but yeah, it was really nice profit on him. And then I'll talk about what I did with this Keane too, and I'll show you an image of my buy price. It was like 417, 420 on him. Sold 475, 480, so it's like 30 to 40k a card. Quick maths. And what happened kind of with Heroes was a similar effect, but a little bit more dramatic. People saw the Hero SBC come out, right? And kind of this is their mentality, is they say, you know what? I think that a lot of people are going to pack my hero. I got to sell mine now before he crashes in price. And everyone thinks like that, right? So what happened with FUT Heroes is these cards that were selling at like 500k, which Keane was, he dropped down to literally 410k. He was literally 410. He was 425k with like tons sitting on the market. I got some more aggressively at like 420, 417, etc. He's back up to 480, and this did work on Xbox too. He went as low as 340k on Xbox. I'll show you a screenshot there so you can see. Whenever there's an SBC like this out, just know that the top end cards aren't going to get packed enough to matter. You know what I mean? Like, no one's packing Di Natale, Ginola, Keane, but everyone wants them. So everyone that's sold is buying them back. This Cole was really easy to get at 330. He's right now 385k PS. He dropped as low as 315k. I don't know if Footbin will reflect that, but yeah, he was as low as 315. 330 was very easy to buy, and he's 380k. That was a few different ways you could make coins with it. You will probably see this again relatively soon with the base icon SBC. So if you're seeing a ton of panic on golds during the base icon SBC, or even seeing a ton of panic on kind of like top tier icons that people again aren't going to pack, you're going to make some really, really good profit on that. If you take into effect current market situations, it's going to go really far, right? Kind of like I mentioned before, if you use Mendy and Varane, because you know the French links have been doing super well, those have better signs of recovery. Same with Hakimi. And some cards, just so you guys know, that I even shouted and I like, didn't recover as much as I would have hoped. One of them was Goretzka though, and Goretzka has been showing pretty good signs of recovering all week. He dropped to like 49k on PS, and I thought it looked pretty good. I actually thought he'd recover closer to like 55k, but he dropped to 49k here, and he's slowly gone up for sure, but I was hoping he would go up a few more k. It wasn't the best buy. You'd still make like 2k a card, but it wasn't what I was hoping for. And you're always aiming for the best targets, because sometimes cards just recovered to break even are a little bit extra. Other times, like with Varane and Mendy and Hakimi, you're making like 10% on them, which is super duper high. Taking into account which cards are recovering and why is super important throughout the year. Hopefully today's video gave you some insight on how to kind of navigate some market panic when we get these big SBCs. This will happen again in the future. So if you're making notes, if you're making mental notes on what's happening and why, this is going to go really far throughout the year, because every time we pretty much get like a base icon or even a party bag of rule breakers guaranteed, this is going to happen. People will sell the top end rule breakers. No one packs them. They're going to go higher again. Make note of this. Remember this video and you'll make coins, okay? Just wanted to take a second to say thank you guys so much for 10k subscribers here. Really means a lot to us, and I think we're just getting started here. We want to continue to put out great videos for you and help as many people as possible learn the market. I'm really confident that I can do that on this platform, and I think that our coin total reflects that. I think that what we do reflects that, and I'm not talking necessarily in retrospect on all these things. You guys can see my trade pile right now. I'm doing these things as they come, so I think a lot of people could analyze the market and say, oh, this is what happened, now I see. But doing it live is what makes good traders and how you make coins. So I'm hoping you guys can see how we think and you can apply that same knowledge in the future. Thank you guys so much for all the support on the channel. We'll see you next time. Peace.